Welcome into my humble hall. Sit down, feel free to partake in Odin's advice. Have some mead, or cider if that suits you best. Warm yourself by the fire, and relax as I take you back in time, to a time before the great lands of Mithgarder and Jotunheimr, to a time before the Aesir, to a time before the Jotnar, to a time even before time itself, for the Northlands tell a tale of first beginnings. So, let us go to the start when there was nothing but Ginnungagap, the yawning void, where there was nothing at first, no wind, no fire, no trees, not even a rock. A spark would first appear from a land of fire formed from mystery, Muspelheimr, as we would come to call this land, the first world to come into existence, its borders on the yawning void, the first world to illuminate its darkness and provide a sight of things, the first world to give us the sparks of heat against the dreary nothingness of Ginnungagap. And then another world appeared from forces untold, Niflheimr, as we would come to know it, with its poisonous rivers flowing through the borders of Ginnungagap. From Niflheim's single spring, the Helgemir, roaring kettle they flowed, 11 of them known as the Elivagar, the storm waves. Their names as follows: Svol, Guntra, Fjord, Fimbuthul, Slit, Hrit, Sulk, Ulk, Vid, Lepter, and Gjol. And so, the further into the northern border of the yawning void they flowed, the more they hardened, for just like molten metal leaving its kiln, it grew colder and colder the further from its source it moved, until it finally solidified, and nothing more but rime and small poisonous drops dripped. Thus, layer by layer, this icy foundation would grow in the northern parts of Ginnungagap. Further inside the gap, where the flickering flames from Muspelheimr met with these northern frozen layers, the resulting clash ends in mist, wind-whipped rain, and rime. Only on the southern parts, those bordering on Muspelheimr, were the regions warm, bright, and as mild as a windless day. From the quickening flow and the breath of heat, life sprang up, and so arose the first of the Jotnar, named Umir, whom the Jotnar call Algmir, and from him come the beings known as Hrimfusar, Frost Jotnar. For it is said that while he took to sleeping that he began to sweat, and from under his left hand grew a man and a woman, while one of his feet begot a son with the other. From these descend the clan of Hrimfusar. Then appeared the cow, Aldumla, from whom it is said 4 rivers of milk flowed, that provided nourishment to Umir. The cow herself fed on licking blocks of salty ice. Over time, Aldumla would lick a big, beautiful, strong man in the ice free. His name was Buri. Buri would have a son named Bor. Bor would have the daughter of Bolthorn the Jotun. Together, they would have 3 sons, Vili, Ve, and Odin. Some time passed, and then it happened, though no one is sure why, that the sons of Bor slew the Jotun Umir. They took his body and placed it in the middle of Ginnungagap. The earth was fashioned from his flesh, the mountains and cliffs from his bones. His molars were turned into stone and gravel. From his blood they made the sea. They took his skull, and from it made the sky, under which they placed the 4 dwarfs, named Nordri, Sudri, Austri, Vestri. From his brain came clouds, and from his eyelashes they formed the enclosure around what is known today as Mithgarder. Then they took the embers and sparks from Muspelheimr, which were flying randomly. They placed these embers in the middle of the Ginnung sky, both above and below, to light up the heavens and the earth. They found these places, and then they also fixed their courses. And so it was how things came to be. So that was the creation myth of one of my traditions, which is heathenry. It's one of those that I adhere to, as well as the Kemetic and the Sumerian, obviously. If you'd like to, for me to go over this myth in more detail, like perform sort of an exegesis or what I think about it, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And please do, as always, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Maybe even join the Discord down below. And if you really want to go above and beyond, I have a wish list. But other than that, this was actually a fun little aside that I've been producing, so until I can get my new computer up and running and tested. The next one will probably be about gender theory, so stay tuned for that one.